to the clone.
Welcome back, y'all. We have already
Welcome.
been yapping, so we just
A
finally
long
press
time.
record.
A long time. Welcome back to Astro and Negro.
And if you're new, hey girl, hey sir,
Welcome
hey
you.
ma'am, hey,
Welcome
hey
y'all.
everybody in between. Yeah, welcome to Astro Negro. I'm Lady Emerald.
I am Liz Flo or Astro Liz or whatever I decide to call myself today, to be quite honest.
For real, for real. And as you guys know, we are here to talk about astrology from the Black diasporic, Black American, Black Caribbean viewpoints. And this episode is like a mix of like shoot the shit, but also
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
let's debrief, let's catch up, but also let's expand our astrological takes. We're not gonna say bad takes, we're gonna say let's
Teachable moments.
expand. Teachable
Just,
moments. That's
but also Astro Musings. I tend to say Astro Musings on like TikTok and Instagram.
mhm.
That's me. I coined that. If you hear somebody else say it, they stole it from me. Um,
Yeah, we've been
um,
cracking up the
yeah,
whole
we've been
evening.
all over the place. But I think bringing additional perspectives is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we see things through very, very narrow lenses, and I'm just like, that's not how astrology works, people.
And what pisses me off about it, it'd be like large,
Platforms.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like the misinformation.
Yeah.
It's what bothers me. And I know some of it is like people trying to figure it out, but I think that goes back into not doing proper study because I think people think astrology is just a vacuum of one transit, but it's like all these things happening in environment, in history, in like unprecedented times
The
currently.
ongoing unprecedented times.
As millennials, we have never not known unprecedented times.
Period. That's why we are tired and we are weary. Okay.
Listen, listen. I don't. I'm learning for sure just to look at stuff and like, okay, scroll, scroll,
You know what we call that? Growth.
growth, growth. Because I could have been like, no, like I was at that one that was. I don't know. I'll refine the tweet, but
Okay.
the one I sent today to you, someone said,
Mhm.
wondering if Pluto in Aquarius is responsible for how hard it is to get a job right now if you don't have connections. Maybe this is a stretch, but I don't know. It doesn't seem too far off. It is kind of a stretch when we've been having a bad job market since 2021.
I would also go towards having that shift in Uranus going into Taurus, to be quite honest. We also had the North nodes in Libra and Aries for the last 18 months. I think it is
Yeah,
that the
which
nodes, that's that really, all of those combinations would be the job market, to be honest.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then right before that was the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. So we had like, but when the nodes were when the North Node was in Taurus, we had Uranus and Taurus coming in, like really amplifying
Mm-hmm.
things. So, and
Mm-hmm.
that was during an Biden administration, and so we
Mm-hmm.
had a up, right, up in employment, and
Mm-hmm.
then it really hit because everything went remote. So more people have access to jobs because things were remote. And
Mm-hmm.
then when tourists started to leave, people started to be forced back into office. And so you had
That
in
makes a lot of sense.
unemployment. And
The
so,
the North Node, like the leaving of Taurus behind, is that comfort around how you do things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
North Node and Taurus feels like remote work, being able to be at home, being able to have cooked
Mm-hmm.
meals, being able to be comfortable while getting your money.
Mm-hmm. And then it moved to Aries, and the South Node is in Libra. So
Get
the
to work.
equity, yeah. So like you'd be like, oh, it's supposed to be grounded in like equity, social justice. Well, it can't ground in that if that was never the intentions.
System. Yeah, that's not the system. That's not what it's built on. They're like, get to
So,
work, pull yourself by the bootstraps. Very much, not
yeah,
our favorite part of Aries. Of like, just go do things.
yeah. So and I think if you think about Pluto isn't even in charge of jobs.
Now, Pluto to me is in charge of upholding systems that already exist or breaking them.
Mm-hmm. Either or.
Yeah.
Either or. And so right now we're seeing I think because Pluto's in Aquarius and then all this Pisces energy and then Pluto return, finishing off the Pluto return in the US, people are
Mm.
feeling the crumble. When the crumble was probably already starting to happen, even
It's
like
been starting.
pre-COVID, even probably even
Yeah, I was
pre
already on this way.
so, and I think, we
COVID sped everything up.
correct. And Uranus is about upheaval. So Uranus and Taurus upheaval of like money systems. And so you see this up and down, this
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so
Mm-hmm.
you saw once Uranus went to Taurus like 2018, twenty
I
nineteen.
believe so, yeah.
And so, because it goes to Gemini this year, so like think
Mm-hmm.
about everything from the past since 2018, 2019 regarding money and jobs and comfortability. That I
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think that's why it's important that we started off this podcast with Pluto and Aquarius.
Widen your lens, people.
Yeah, because I think people are trying to put too much on Pluto and Aquarius. I'm like, as a Plutonian or girly with Pluto in the first house, not too much on my dog, okay? The astronomers and already said my dog is not a planet no more. And then y'all trying to put all this pressure on him. Please, let's not.
It's enough. Okay? It's enough. Okay, you don't went from that's a dwarf planet. Which one is it? Is it a dwarf or is it a
Um,
planet? Like what are we doing
I, I don't know. Okay.
with Pluto?
Then what's so funny? I'm looking at this tweet that I sent that I quote tweeted and I quote tweeted it at 1:11. But yeah, but the tweet said, y'all notice how Saturn and Pisces lead to many people quitting smoking or drinking. And that's all drugs, people. Okay. Do you think Saturn in Aries will lead to criticism around sex appeal or a push for more modesty? The Pretty Little Thing rebrand sparked this thought, and I said, no, not at all. The push for conservatism started years ago, and not necessarily with Saturn. It's another transit.
Also, people have to realize just because something switched into a new sign, it might just reveal things that have already been in the background, right? Saturn and Pisces is the result of the conservatism that has been already in the works. All these Christian influencers, all of a sudden everybody believe in Jesus and Jehovah, and everyone is a traditional wife making, I don't know, Pepsi at the crib. Like,
And all of
this
that is,
is
is
a
delusion.
strategic plan.
I really, people want to blame Saturn and Pisces, but it's Neptune and Pisces that did all of that.
It's very Neptune and Pisces because Neptune and Pisces is the is fanaticism. That's literally what Neptune and Pisces is. You're not seeing
Addiction,
anything
illusion.
clearly. Addiction, illusion, fantasy, escapism.
Mm-hmm.
Extremism is just a form of not wanting to be in the present reality. So, instead of creating like Afrofuturistic possibilities, what kind of bullshit can I get on to not be here?
Because I was like, y'all don't, I was like, you have to also like think about like religion and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The cult life, right? In every religion went up during Neptune and Pisces. So the past 11 years has been on 10.
Jupiter, right? Because if we go into the traditional planet for Pisces, Jupiter
Oh.
going into Gemini is how we're seeing, hearing, and being overly bombarded by messaging of what's been going on in Neptune and Pisces. Now people
Mm.
are telling on themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before that, what was it in? Was it in Taurus? Because does it go
Taurus.
backwards?
No, 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 no. It goes forward. So Jupiter
It
and
goes forward.
Taurus, remember when Jupiter and Taurus, when we get like, we start to, because it's like a year, right? So we're talking about
Mm-hmm,
last year, Jupiter and Taurus, we saw even a bigger push for like luxury stuff. It pissed me off. It really
mm-hmm.
did piss me off. Jupiter in Aries is what? So Jupiter in Aries will be what, 2022, 2023?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going
Hustle
back to
culture?
style. For Jupiter and Aries, oh, I think you go to like, no, because Jupiter and Taurus most definitely was like the baddie siren office thing, which was stupid.
Yeah, okay,
And
okay.
Jupiter in Aries, um, I don't know, Jupiter
So
in
style?
style,
Loungewear.
was it?
Loungewear, sportswear. Because we were at home. Comfy clothes.
Yeah, because you
It's
have
a
to
mix.
think.
It's a mix because between that, like Aries to Taurus, loungewear being the thing, but make it luxury, right?
I
Make
need these
it,
Jupiter transits, bro.
yeah.
Because I can't, this is a lot of thinking. Because Jupiter isn't in one whoop-de-doo.
Drop we're on to something here.
Because okay, so here's my
Give it to
my
me.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know people would push back, would be like, well, no, because we would look at Venus for style, but you have to think about
Nope.
capitalism, baby.
They
Like
want fast
fashion.
fashion.
Yes. So
Jupiter
you
is fast fashion.
and so I know people like, what? Listen to what we're
Just
seeing.
follow us. Just follow us.
Okay,
Let's go on
so
this
okay,
train.
2019 Jupiter enters Capricorn, which sets up the beginnings of the Jupiter Saturn thing that led to the pandemic. Okay, that's always
Okay.
what happens.
Okay.
20 December 2020 Jupiter enters Aquarius. May 13th, 2021 is Jupiter in Pisces. May 2022 is Jupiter in Aries. 2023 was Taurus, and 2024, of course, is Gemini.
Gemini.
So,
Oh, 22. Okay, so we got Aquarius, Pisces, which would make sense. We are all in our pajamas.
also Jupiter entering Pisces, if we want to go like traditional
Mm-hmm.
astrology, I I remember that's when we really started talking about people in spiritual psychosis during that time. So the cult
Oh,
thing happened, and that's when we start to see the beginnings of the push
people.
for clean girl
Yeah.
aesthetics, which really
Mm.
is just a pathway to white conservatism and cults
Yes.
and white supremacy, evangelical stuff.
And a
So,
lot of the like big platform influencers, we saw the flip.
mm,
We saw some of the flips of like this person is getting lost along their way.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
The
you know
yeah.
what? It's crazy because Jupiter in Aries, I barely remember, and I wonder if that's on like purpose because is that when a lot of us stepped back, or did we get? I think that's
When
2022
was
is
Jupiter in Aries?
2022. So I maybe that's when we start to get suppressed on the internet.
That makes a lot of sense. Um, and maybe not just yet. I think we started getting suppressed when after that.
Yeah, because
Because
2020,
20,
no,
just
because
thinking,
I still was making money
I made
2022,
money that year. But like 2023, it started
baby.
dwindling. So yeah, yeah.
No,
Jupiter and Aries.
I think I we saw more of a push for cryptocurrency, but
That because if we think of Aries, Aries a cardinal sign, get shit started. Basically, that's what a cardinal sign is.
hmm.
And so new forms of being, right? New forms of making sense of the world, right?
No way, and that's when a lot of those folks start scamming, talk about forex trade and all
PCP,
this stuff.
PPP loans.
Them ML, LM, them people, all them stuff, because it's like people were trying to figure out new ways to get wealth.
Yeah, how do you scam accordingly?
But I'm trying to figure out like how I really wish I remember more of 2022 and to 2023 because why is that a fog?
Trauma.
Probably. Who knows? Who knows? But let's see. That's just so interesting. I don't know. And how
I
did we
know
get
I
to all of this?
was,
We have no idea.
I think I worked most of that year.
I'm sorry. I don't, do you hear this in the background?
No,
Okay, beautiful. It's the sirens. Um, I don't
I
that's
worked most of that time. So I wasn't tapped into anything. I was just working all the fucking time. Too long. Overworked and underpaid.
okay, let's see. 2021, the end of 2021, I moved from Los Angeles back home.
Mm.
There's so much that happened.
Started
I
a new business. I started a new business.
okay. Okay.
Ran that.
Okay.
Hit 2022. Kept running that. A lot of um vendings. A lot of vending. So it was a
Okay.
lot of just like doing too much, but like testing everything
But that makes sense with Jupiter
in Aries
in Aries. Because that
and
would have
Aquarius. Well, not Aquarius. You were all figuring out what the fuck to do.
yeah, because like Pluto, yeah. Because like
Mm.
Pluto was at the end of Capricorn. So I think we start to be like really think about like what does new systems look like, I feel
Yeah.
like. And I think that's why there was like a
Protests.
there was another round of protest. Um
Yep.
and even like it's just like it's crazy. Trying to kind of think back on that time and why now I'm suspicious because why is that a blur? Why is 2022 in particular a blur?
Hmm.
Mind you, when I talk to people on the book side of things, like Bookstagram, 2022 was like our biggest reading year. Like everybody was like, 2022 was so great. I'm like, if everyone read the most books and had the best reading year 2022, what were we trying to escape from? That's my question now. Message.
Words that need, what is it? Questions QTNA. Okay.
Listen. I don't
Hmm.
know. Because now I
I
really
think
have to think about what were we trying.
governmental shit too, right? This is where we also started seeing how our local governments reacted to COVID, responded to it, did not put
You know
in
what?
funds.
Because that's when around the time the Fed was like, we can't roll anymore. money that they start
Mm-hmm.
shutting down COVID federal stuff because by then your states should have put stuff in motion.
And didn't.
Like, and they did not. And they didn't. Um, and then everyone wanted to blame Fed. I was like, well, y'all don't know how America's run. It's your state's fault. Because why didn't they put things in place after they were given billions of
Yeah.
your taxpayer dollars back into your state, and they did nothing to set up systems to better prepare or to have consistent coverage for
As
vaccines.
somebody who lives
Yeah.
in the state,
It just hurts my heart about Florida. Florida has such a good public health system,
I
but it
live
was
in the
being ran by
county of Dade,
Republicans.
um, county of Dade, not Florida. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Yeah.
Fury. Um, county of Dade, Miami specifically.
I liked working with y'all's program council people over y'all public health because they would, baby, they be trying to get y'all together down there.
Fighting, and you can tell it's just all the walls that they hit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then they voted down and get back in. Anyway,
And shout out to our
that's not
Florida
what we came
listeners.
here.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know, but I know one day you had a little rant about Saturn because I think people have a
Let's talk about Saturn. Thank you for reminding me. Dearly beloveds, we are gathered here today to talk about Saturn returns and Saturn because y'all doing way too little with Saturn.
Mm,
Just because everyone, it's a collective planet, so everybody go through their Saturn return together. And instead
mhm,
of learning how to get through a Saturn return together, y'all, the tunnel is small, it's closed, it's narrowed. No one likes being accountable.
mm,
And Saturn says, I don't give a shit. All the Saturn leave you alone for a while, let you live your life, create these wonderful Neptunian fantasies of all the ways that by 30 you go have your shit together. And Saturn is like, it's getting close. You're 26, 27, that frontal cortex lobe has developed.
mhm,
Let's see where you're at. And if where you're at is not where you wanted, are supposed to, or is in alignment, Saturn is like, let's help you get there. Let's help you get
no,
there, friend. You're not gonna like how
no, mm-mm,
if you don't do the work. And who likes to do the work in their 20s? No one wants to do the work in their 20s. We out here doing bald headed whole shit. And Saturn is not saying don't have fun, live your life. But Saturn is saying what you were told you wanted was a lie.
mm,
And let me show you. You're not going to like it if you hold on to this. It's kind of like that meme. We're going to get into a Jesus reference, right? There's Yahweh trying to give you a big little teddy bear.
oh, that
It's
meme.
bigger than the little one that you have in your hand. The little one is missing eyeballs, right? It ain't got no mouth no more. The chest a little cut open. It's been through some things. But you want to hold on and grip onto this ugly ass little bear because it's been with you for the last 27 years. While Yahweh, Jehovah Jireh, is over here like, let me give you this bigger one. Or whoever you believe in, right? Buddha, Allah, Jah, Haile Selassie, whoever it is.
Mhm. Right now
That
it's
is
Big
what
Daddy
set
Saturn right there.
Big Daddy Saturn, Sky Daddy, trying to give you a better gift,
Hmm.
a better direction for your life. And it's not, hey, go this way. It's, hey, you can get a better ride. You've been walking all this
Mm-hmm.
time. And you've been walking in somebody else's dream.
Mm. How
That's
can you
really,
become more aligned? How can you
yeah,
actually
it's
become more
really,
aligned?
how do you become so unfuckwithable within yourself and whatever that means to you without all this extra shit that never belonged to you?
Mm-hmm.
Literally Erica Badu singing Bag Lady in the background. Like, girl, you don't want this.
Yeah. And it's just like literally learning certain things. Like I'm currently finishing off my Saturn return. The way Saturn wants to reward you for being in alignment,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
like the way I would say people like it's karmic. Well, yeah, you can create your own good karma or whatever you believe in. But I was like, Saturn like really reminds you who you are. And I think why so many people get into, especially our generation, have started, so many people start therapy or pick back up therapy during the Saturn return because
I
they
should
start to
started.
heal their inner child and re-remember
Mm-hmm.
what did I really want, even as a youngin?
Mm-hmm.
And Saturn is like, well, let's use that as a blueprint to adulthood, but with structuring and resources. Like Saturn wants you to work smarter, not harder, because like
Mm-hmm.
who wants a hard life? Um, but I think it gets such a bad rep,
Yeah.
and one of my reasons, astrology is a tool, not a belief system. But I think people put when they be like Big Daddy Saturn or Sky Daddy for him or that celestial, I'd be like, why are you trying to equate Saturn to a malefic Christian god? Because we know all of that colonization has even messed up our interpretation of astrology versus actually listening to
Absolutely.
the energy that the planets, those big celestials up there, what
Yeah.
are they actually trying to like show us? Like,
Yep.
and that is just my viewpoint. I know some people like, oh, what? Listen, I'm how easily it was to replace Jesus with Big Daddy Saturn, like with that meme should have told you something, and I be telling people like sometimes when you go into certain things, especially if a lot of cultists use it, you need to come at it with a clean slate. Do not put your belief systems
Not
on the
objective.
planets,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
On these things because you're not going to get in like anything out of it, or it's going to be a skewed perception.
And
And yeah,
people like can not embody but invoke energies of planets. I don't know how to do that, so don't ask me, y'all. But I know some people do all of these things and God, Greek God. Oh, listen, whatever works for you works for you. But yes, Saturn can bring limitations on the bullshit that you don't need,
clock it.
on the boundaries that you didn't have the words for, that you weren't taught, that were overstepped. Saturn is like, you don't even got to worry about this. I got it.
And I think it goes back to that one tweet we said in the beginning about, people no longer drinking because Saturn Pisces. I'm like, well, yeah, because Saturn Pisces is saying those addictions that you don't need, clean it up. So many
And
people are going sober because these things you are using them to escape.
and if you really want to go further, I believe that Saturn is actually the occultist planet. You when you are going into, for example, throwing something out. Y'all know I'm in Miami. Santeria. The initiation, they shave your head. I'm sure this is like most ATR situations. They shave your
Mm-hmm.
head. You have to wear white for a whole year. You
Mm-hmm.
are a child again. You know what children don't do? Drink,
Mm-hmm.
smoke, or
Mm.
engage in any sexual activities, which means that's not you're not gonna do that for a year.
Structure. Structure. And kids need structure.
Kids need structure, they need safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
A child cannot be a child if they cannot play and be in alignment with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The minds, the creativity, the play is all that is needed. The connection to spirit. Children are closest to spirit than any other being
Mm-hmm.
on the planet, except like old people, if they
Mm-hmm.
choose to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what Saturn does. It's like, Saturn to me is more like a grandparent. I think of like a
Mm-hmm.
grandmama. I don't see
Mm-hmm.
a man
Mm-mm.
because
I
like,
most definitely see an elder for sure.
yeah, like I see an elder, not necessarily any kind of binary, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um that is like, hey, you forgot who you were back there. Come take
Listen.
my hand. People have
Mm-hmm.
been playing in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to like yourself. Be with you for a while.
Yeah.
Figure some things out.
So so now I even have a bigger question of why do so many people get married and have kids around that Saturn return? And
That's such a good one.
is that a society thing? And I think it's a partially society thing
Yes, to an
because so
extent.
many people, we're not living as long. We're having bringing in children as healthily at a later age. So I'm like, I've been trying to figure out is it a brain thing, but I was like, no.
Mm-mm.
I mean, women, we always go through some type of puberty every 5 years, so that doesn't matter. And basically anyone with a uterus goes through some type of puberty every 5 years or so. Um, and so I'm like, what about
I have
30?
theories.
What about 30? What about Saturn return that Saturn naturally says return back to self and y'all
Hmm.
go and get married, have
I
kids.
have I have some thoughts and I have some theories.
Okay.
So the other part to Saturn, right? Because there's two sides to the coin,
Mm-hmm.
is the not so positive side to this is indoctrination,
Mm.
right? If
Yeah.
from 26, 27, when your actual Saturn return starts popping,
Mm-hmm. The
things start
energy.
fizzling, right? If, let's say, you're in a household that is overly patriarchal, if you're in a household that is overly indoctrinating, what happens is you don't get to return to self, right? If this is a situation where, you ain't exactly choosing, there are people who do choose, and a part of returning to self is being in union,
Mm.
right? And so there's two sides to it. There can be the indoctrination, the doubling down of everything that you have learned, and being like, well, I'm going to follow this path.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the structure that I'm going to learn. Because not everybody goes through Saturn return. Sometimes you need the second one.
At 60, at 58, 60.
That's where you see people lose their damn mind sometimes, and you're like, but
You know
it's
what? I
it's
do
that.
see a lot of people having second marriage. If they had a long marriage, their first, like something
Mm-hmm.
about the end of their 50s, I do see a lot more people remarrying or something, or like they divorce in their 50s or right before their second Saturn return. It's something that happens. I don't know if that's the other Jupiter return that happens, or
There's
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
different like returns that happen along the way that kind of make you reconsider some things.
Mm-hmm.
But some people getting married and being in union during Saturn is another way to work with Saturn. That's really the honest truth because you're recommitting to something,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is either to yourself, to a long term partnership, or to your indoctrination. And sometimes it's a combination of all of those. Some people need the child to kind of return to self. It might be at the expense of the child. We don't know, right? A lot of us are our Saturn return. We are a lot of our parents' Saturn return.
Yeah.
A lot
No,
of us.
listen, I think I was my mom's 12th house baby. She was going through her 12th house perfection year, and my
Mm,
little sisters came in during her Saturn return, back to back.
no.
Because I
Like,
think I think my mom was like 20. She was 23.
mm.
She's a December, but
Oh,
she's a
that's
cat.
definitely the
She
12th
she's
house.
yeah, she's a Capricorn, December Capricorn. I was born in May. Then so I was her 12th house perfection year
Ooh,
baby.
you got all them placements, specific placements.
Yeah,
You
and
know, they do say our signs are kind of what was going on with our parents. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I don't want to know.
and you know what I think, and the crazy part is, I don't remember her chart. I think she's a Gemini rising, and I'm a Gemini sun. So it be clicking, you know.
Ta-da.
So it's always it's like, and I was like, them Saturn return babies be like tearing y'all up. Okay. They
To
be
this
giving y'all the
day,
blues. They be giving y'all the blues.
to this day. And it's
And
not to say Saturn is like the happiest experience you're going to have. Saturn really is going to, sandcastles. Okay. If
mhm.
y'all never listened to the song by Beyonce, Sandcastles, I don't know where you've been. But also, that is literally a Saturn return situation of like, I really thought we had, this elaborate sand castle that was never going to be taken away by the tide. And apparently, the foundations were weak. Where the foundations are weak, Saturn is like, how are you willing to commit to either rebuilding or strengthening a foundation?
Yeah, that I would say
Mm-hmm.
Saturn is humbling, but not in the way people
Oh,
use
yeah.
humble today, not as
Yeah.
belittling, but like humbling as in like grounding in self, being present in self, seeing yourself. That's what I mean by like humbling. Saturn is most
Yeah.
definitely a humbling space. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like having Saturn in Pisces in the fourth house of home, right? It's like coming back home to myself in the most intuitive way.
Same.
So yeah, as
Same.
people with Saturn in the fourth house, this is what
Same.
we deal with. And
Mm-hmm.
I do understand why people now having this conversation even more. I understand more why people who have Saturn in the seventh through 12th house, they also marry a little later most times
Yeah.
because they literally must return to self.
Yeah.
Like be by
To be
like
whole.
before you engage and pour
Mm-hmm.
into others as much.
Because you could lose yourself.
hmm hmm When I found out in traditional astrology, um, of course, Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius in
Mm-hmm.
traditional astrology, and they were like actually, Saturn actually prefers Aquarius. Them Capricorns lost their mind. I said, listen,
It just makes so much sense though, because yeah, that
have
makes so much
you
sense.
have you met an Aquarian that wants to work hard? They're gonna figure out how to work smart, baby. They're not gonna be doing all of that. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. So,
It's working smart versus like the I need to prove why I need to work hard in Capricorn, or why I
mhm,
need to isolate versus recharging for Aquarius, right?
mhm.
And this is a perfect segue to go into Aquarius because we were going to talk about the misconceptions of Aquarius.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Y'all got my fellow air signs messed up. I know that much. I know that much. Like people love to say Aquarians are detached, or maybe they just mind their business. Like I think I have never met an Aquarian. Well, I'm biased. I'm a Gemini. Okay, I've never
I'm
met
not an
an.
air sign, and
Listen,
I am also like,
I don't see. I like these people are who we consider the humanitarians. So how are you saying that they're detached? You cannot be a humanitarian if you're detached. You're actually probably too into the loop of what's going on. But you may
hmm.
have been in the sense of maybe you feel like they're detached, but maybe they're too in the future and not
And
present.
not only that, it's to assume detachment, because everyone likes the word detachment now. Let's use vocabulary, right? Detached, to not be attached to something, right? To
Mm-hmm.
me, the concept, the idea, the theory of detachment in Aquarius is they're not enmeshed with you, which is what you want,
Mm.
right? Because like you want a Piscean energy out of an Aquarius, and that's just not what's happening. Detachment isn't detachment, it's having strong enough boundaries to realize I need energy for myself to go back
Mm-hmm.
out and to keep innovating, breaking down, and changing the systems that are. If I am with you all of the time, fighting for you, fighting for us, fighting for liberation, thinking of revolution, being ahead of everything that currently exists, you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that in a room full of chitter chatter.
Yeah. Which is why most Aquarians are actually very much so introverted. They're more introverted, especially if they have like an Aquarius rising. I find them to be more introverted.
The Aquarius risings that I know have fire placements, so
Oh
I don't get
yeah.
that,
Okay.
but they do need their moments to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
And with the culture that we're in now, people take that very personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so assume that they're unfeeling or they're whatever. Baby, they are overstimulated.
That's what it really is.
They're overstimulated.
And that's what people don't get. I think
They rule the
Aquarians,
nerves. It rules the
that's what I was
nerve.
about to say. I was like, they most definitely give me, um, people who are very overstimulated. And I do find that people who have a lot of Aquarius placements do tend to be, this is an observation. This is not true. Okay. We don't have enough charts and don't have enough proper diagnoses. So I want to put that as a caveat, like as a precursor. But I do feel like a lot of people who have, and I don't think it's just Aquarius placements. I think it's air
Keep
placements,
talking.
period. Air placements, period, that these people tend to have or be on the spectrum. They either have really bad anxiety or be on the spectrum because of how they react to stimuli, in my opinion.
Manifesting my
Or
whole body. You're welcome.
but it's just an observation with the charts I do have in talking to clients. I'm like, oh babies, you're on the spec medieval medical astrology.
Medical astrology.
Okay. I saw MD and an L. I was like medieval medical, one of them. I keep seeing that. I'm like, y'all, especially if they have like a lot of Aquarius placements, they um most definitely have tend to be on the spectrum, and then the autistic spectrum, and then people who have a lot
Ooh,
of like
mhm.
Libra or Gemini placements, they tend to have like ADHD. But it has to be prominent, right? It has to be really,
Yeah, it
really
has to be
prominent in
prominent.
certain things.
I
Um,
think mercurial in general
mhm. Mm-hmm. Baby, because
Mm.
them Virgos are going to have, they're going to have anxiety. Them Virgo placements, y'all gonna have anxiety. I just be looking at y'all.
It lives in our bellies.
Literally,
Um,
quite literally. Y'all
let
get
me see.
overexcited, stomach hurt. Get nervous, stomach hurt.
Stomach hurt.
I'm like,
Stressed
listen.
out and sad, stomach hurt. Listen, so I'm looking here. Okay, Aquarian diseases and issues.
Mm-hmm.
This is per the medical astrology, a guide to planetary pathology. This ain't, we not medical. I'm not an MD. I'm just reading a book, and this is what the pamphlet says.
We're not
Aquarius
psychologists.
diseases, no, none of that, none of that, none of that. We may have vibes, but we don't have certifications. Okay. Anemia, nervous sensitivity, muscle spasms, insufficient blood, ankle swelling, varicose veins, weak heart, rheumatism, cold extremities, weird, undiagnosable elements, fatigue, spasmodic diseases,
Okay.
low blood pressure, computer addiction, mental extremes. Mental extremes.
They didn't know what they were talking. Well, they didn't have the proper terminology back then. So,
I mean, this is old as hell, but like the Aquarian nervous system needs restful, soothing influences. So, possibilities.
ciao.
But I absolutely think they're either looking for they're either understimulated or overstimulated, depending on the combinations of the chart. And I know that through 3 to 4 Aquarians in different parts, all of the big three. I
Mm-hmm.
know a couple of risings.
Baby, I'm telling you, the amount of risings I know, I'm like, you a little touched it. I be old
I
school
call a
Southern
little,
grandma. I be like, you a little touched, ain't you? It's okay, baby. We love you.
and the suns, and I'm like,
That explains it.
that short circuiting. We all short circuit just in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
So,
not too much on our Aquarians. The fact that you are not privy to their emotional world is probably none of your business. And that's really just the facts.
clock it, to be honest.
They're either because as a humanitarian, that means that people are overly expectant or entitled to your energy, and that's not how you save people.
That goes back to, I just remember we said we're going to talk about the self projections and how that relates to Leo, because Aquarius and Leo are sister signs, okay?
So
And
let's
how
do it.
y'all
Mm-hmm.
self project so much onto Leo. Leo is the sun, so you're automatically attracted to Leo. It's not that Leo is wanting to be the center of attention.
And there are some, I ain't gonna
Yes,
hold you, there are
there
some.
are, but majority
However,
of them. Have you met real Leo placements? Like
they don't,
they be vibing, bro.
they're just the life of the party, and they came to have fun for themselves.
To be honest.
To be quite honest, y'all decided to join their party. Okay.
Very much
They're
so how
like,
y'all impede on Aquarius emotions. And there's stuff like it's the
it's the
same
same
thing.
thing. It's the
They're
same
sister
thing.
signs. They're just a little different.
Also, if Leo really was attention seeking, they'd be the 11th house. They are not, they are the fifth house.
Also, you know what? The most well, this because most Leos I know tend to have like those cancer placements,
Hmm.
or they have cap.
So
So
close.
I know a lot of Capricorn, Leo suns, Capricorn moons. I know a bunch of them.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
introverted than anything.
Yeah, they like to be
Oh,
left
if they
alone.
have like a pipe, if they have a water moon or earth moon, and
Baby,
they're Leo, they're introverted, baby. They're
like
not trying to do all that,
what, what stage?
huh?
They'd be like, what stage? I'm not trying to be on that.
Like you put me here. You the one who called me out. Like, and it's so interesting. I think a lot of it is self-projection.
So this is kind of what I was thinking about is like Leo is the sun and the inner child. It's about them. You are not, they are the main character in their own world, which we should all be our own main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just when they are their own main character, that's how they can burn so brightly, right? This is how they shine. This is how they are in their element. Everyone doesn't allow themselves to be the main character of their own world
Mm-hmm.
and take it very personally when, you know, it's like Piccolo, I'm in my zone. I don't see none of y'all. And y'all mad that like I got my head up like a zone. And you are over here like, why they vibing? Whole time Leo's just like vibing, vibe, and that's just really the case. What you need to see if you have an issue with Leo is where is Leo in your chart?
The amount of people who do not like Leo, but they either have a Leo rising or a Leo moon, I'd be like, what about yourself you don't like? That'd be like my first question.
And what about yourself weren't you allowed to like?
Mm,
Right? Because a
mm,
lot of projections are the things that people are still waiting for permission to have and to be.
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Leo don't ask for no damn permission to just be. The sun doesn't ask for permission to shine.
It just does.
It just does, right? And so sometimes, you know, there are Leos that try to overly burn brightly or to take up a lot of space in a room. What happened to them that they are looking for validation?
Mm.
Like instead of dehumanizing and removing, oh, XYZs are this way, ask why. Ask why.
Girl, babe, we got some sound bites in this episode because we preaching down, okay? We preaching down,
I'm
okay?
trying to heal the diaspora wars one side, one astrological
One
insight
sign
at a
at a time.
time.
Listen, because you know what, when people be talking about Geminis, I just be quiet. Because you know who they be talking
Listen.
about? The Gemini man. So I'll be like, you're
Okay,
not
I
talking
was
about
about to say, I'm
me.
like, I have no comment.
I listen, and I
You
think I don't like people like,
know.
oh, they're two-faced. No, we just when we gather information, we change our solution. That's
Oh, that's not.
that's it.
Okay, I could change that. So, as someone who struggles often with Gemini energy, where is it in my chart? It's my Jupiter. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with Jupiter. You know, like I'm like, let me study this because I don't know. It's hitting my first house very loudly. I think, and this is what I have learned is the art of duality is nuanced.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are some people that I don't really think Gemini is two-faced, as I believe that
Because
Gemini
we're very loyal, actually.
is, oh yeah, that I won't I can't say no to that. Too often to a detriment.
Correct. I agree.
Um, I know a couple of Geminis. It's at the highest point of my chart. But I think it can be confusing, especially to like fixed signs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or to cardinal signs. Like Gemini takes mutability to a
Mm-hmm.
level that I'm like, I don't even know how to fucking do that. And I'm also mercurial. Okay. I'm just like, listen, y'all take it and y'all done created a little rocket ship of duality over here. But I also think the ability, the Gemini portion, right? The having of the two spirits going on at the same time, um, is double the duality.
Mm-hmm.
And people, Gemini people, especially men, choose what to tap into, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you're literally carrying your shadow aspect with your like in the light aspect. And it's like Are we on demon time or not?
Listen, because the way I can switch real quick, like, you know what? Actually, tag it in. Tag it
Right,
in.
right.
And I think Gemini can teach people to not stay still.
Mm-hmm.
To
Mm-hmm.
like give yourself to fly, like literally in the mythology of Gemini, Hermes, whatever, flies. Give yourself the ability to like fly and explore,
Yes.
to figure out different ways to communicate, to transpose. And I really do. The older I get, the more I appreciate having, because I think Gemini is like the only air sign in my charts,
Mm.
actually. I
Hmm.
think, yeah, but it
Mm-hmm.
sits, it's in a strong spot. It's in a
It's in
strong
a
spot.
strong fixed spot.
Yeah, it's in a strong spot. And so people, when people meet me, they can, it is like, oh, in their face. Although I
Mm-hmm.
have so many Scorpio eighth house, like majority of my charts actually water. When people meet me, they're like Gemini. I'm like, get it. And but they're like, but what else is right? Like they're still trying to figure
Yes.
me out. I'm a Gemini, I'm a
Yes.
Scorpio rising, so I can tell you all my business and you still don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I
You
like it.
know, that is that is I admire that so much.
I Because the people, I was like, that's the thing. Like that's one way Gemini leans into Scorpio. And I don't know any other Gemini sons. Let me know if you have Scorpio sun friends. Let me
That's a good
know.
question. Yeah, that's a good question.
Because if you think about Gemini always carrying our shadow selves as well, and Scorpio is about shadow
Scorpio and Pisces
transformation.
friends.
Yes, I have a bunch of both. Okay. Or we are sharing some type of placement or something. And that it can hang, right? It can
Mm-hmm.
hang because they can peep the actual deafness that Gemini has. Because as a Gemini, I think you can choose, right? This choice. I think Gemini can also help people understand choice. Gemini and Libra, to be honest. Um, of I can either choose to go a mile wide or a mile deep,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Mm-hmm.
depends
Mm-hmm.
on which twin, which sibling of Gemini do you want to interact with. So you're saying I'm two-faced the whole time. You and our interactions have made me think we're just a mile wide and an inch deep. So we're not, I don't put you as an acquaintance where certain aspects we are more like a mile wide and a mile deep, and I think Gemini is really good about choice and like exploration, to be honest. Like
Very much.
learn that. Like we can imbibe
It's
a lot of
mm-hmm.
information, but we always choose what we don't want to fucking hear. We don't care.
Whew. Mm. Yeah. Very, very accurate. Very
I don't want to hear
accurate.
it. I don't care. The way people like, listen, baby, I don't care today. It's too much. I got other things to
But
learn.
Gemini is also associated with the butterfly. And I think that is the perfect depiction of Gemini. Cause like you thought I was a caterpillar, bitch. But I done died, become this gooey thing, hung out in this little house I done made for myself after I done ate all my food and rested and emerged a butterfly. And I think what it is there's almost a Plutonian aspect to Gemini to me
Hmm.
because you carry both like I was a caterpillar. My caterpillar's still with me. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
caterpillar is still in the house while also being the butterfly and being able to be like, yeah, let's connect. It always doesn't have to be this forever connection to receive something beautiful, which I really struggle with that. But that's just because. placement. You know what I'm saying?
go back to that also goes back to people thinking Geminis are flighty, or maybe we just intuitively
Some can be,
understands things are a season, but like we're also very loyal.
and
If we fuck with you long, we fuck with you. Okay.
I think it's offensive to people to be like, why am I a season? And it's like, because you're a leaf and not a branch. Right? Like you're a leaf, you're not a branch. You're a branch, you're not a root. And the being able to understand who is what and why is also a very hard thing for people because a lot of people do again enmesh.
Mm-hmm.
They like the enmeshment, they like the entitlement of connection being an attachment versus what it is. It's connection is a spark.
Mm-hmm.
What happens after the spark is either we keep connecting or we don't.
And I think that goes back to people's because people are be like, well, if we can't enmesh, how do we create community? No, 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 no.
That's not.
Community
Mm,
includes different types of relationships, and people are trying to put people into like the same two or three buckets of relationships, and that's not what this is. Like that's not what life is, actually.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
Um, and
mm-mm.
I don't know if that is. I have a theory with all these Scorpios because of Valentine's Day, and on top of so many, have a theory that majority of millennials, not majority, a large portion of millennials are also Scorpio risings. So a lot of us got that Pluto in the first house. Um,
Most of us have Pluto and Scorpio as well, so
yes, yes, absolutely.
we
And
roll deep with each other.
correct. And this goes back to like the enmeshment and attachment issues. My whole thing
Mhm.
about Scorpio suns have the most abandonment issues that I have seen. Every Scorpio sun that I have a chart on,
Let's talk about the whys.
because they crave intimacy.
Not only do they crave intimacy, they have been starved of intimacy.
Absolutely.
A lot of our issues, if we really paying attention in therapy, come from where? Our childhood.
Childhood. Hmm.
And so like the obsession, the stalking, the whatever bullshit stereotype y'all be putting on, it's that you have encountered someone who is starving
Hmm.
of depth and intimacy because they are this deep, deep existence. And encountering parents who are shallow pools will fuck you up.
Hmm.
If you are this deep, stagnant water and your parents are puddles that evaporate when the sun comes out, you're starving.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, yeah, as like everything, there are extremes, right?
Hmm.
But a lot of people, especially Scorpios, they're not taught to trust anybody growing up.
And you have to think about the Scorpios we have now. If they're mostly like millennial and Gen Z, their parents are boomers and Xers. Hello. Yeah. There we go.
Your thought processes ain't thought processing. How am I trust
Child,
you? You don't even trust yourself.
honey. And then they get this rep for being like super sexual. And I'm just like,
They're overly sexualized.
thank you. Because I was like, the super sexual, I say we think about sex, we need to think about like Mars, not sun signs.
And it depends on Mars, right? Because
Correct.
depending on the placement of Mars, if Mars is maybe in the fifth house, maybe in the 11th house, in the eighth house, dearly beloveds, let me tell you how that is not the fucking case. It just ain't. Mars can be the active sex, but it's not necessarily being overly sexual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can have,
Because people can forget that Mars also, if it's sex, it's also like abstinence and celibacy.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I just be like, okay, like that means
There's two
nothing.
sides to a coin. There's two sides to everything. And so Scorpios being overly sexualized because they're mysterious, it's because it's none of your business. Like,
Mm-hmm. It's like they're sacred, like their bodies are truly a sacred temple because their bodies are so connected to their emotions. And so those are
hmm.
really the sun signs that I really say, really all the water sun signs. I'm like, y'all really need a true relationship emotionally to have.
And it's also a fixed sign.
Yeah, yeah. To have like a good
You,
sexual exploratory like time. And then of course depends on all the other placements when it comes to
yeah,
June.
it absolutely
Venus,
does.
Mars, Moon, blah blah blah. It's so much that goes into it. And like I maybe that's really our real beef. Pop astrology is our real beef.
Maybe it is. Because, like, I'm also still thinking about the archetype of Scorpio. And, like, I went into this whole deep dive with one of my besties. We was creating something, and we were researching the scorpion.
Hmm.
The scorpion can swim. The
Hmm.
scorpion can be on drowning. The scorpion can be thrown into a freezer, and when that motherfucker defrosts, it will stab you. And I
Very
just
defensive,
like
protective of itself.
the resilience and the audacity to live is not by choice.
Listen, goes back to also, Scorpio can represent the phoenix, transformation, rebirths, right? If you think about Pluto, what that is in modern astrology, Pluto, ruling Scorpio, and so many millennials, majority of millennials be Pluto and Scorpio, and people to be mad, they're like, why do y'all act like that? Well, we had the audacity to live and continue to do our own thing. I was bringing back to like this, like, yes, we're talking about individuals, but look at like, there's a huge population of people with prominent Scorpio placements. And y'all are like semi-obsessed at this point. I don't know what it is.
It's very strange,
It's
actually.
very strange. It's very strange. And I get it. Like we have had multiple iterations of like fashion, pop, like culture period under our
And it keeps
tutelage.
changing. It's going to keep changing because it's like
Yeah.
literally there's just so many things.
Yeah. Because baby, I always
Because
say if I was an elder millennial, so as in I was like in college during the crunk era, would I be where I am? I'll probably be in jail, to be honest. Like crunk era, like is like everything. I grew
baby,
up.
I was in high school, so we was having a great time.
Listen, I was like middle, and then by the time I got to college, it was 2010s, early 2010, and so that was like the Travis Porter,
I graduated
Waka
that following
Flocka,
year.
like on 10, on 10. Now by the time you got to like 2015, everything, well, I'll say 2014. But I was like, that was because that was the end of like the last millennials had entered, and we were like getting out of
Mm,
college. So you felt that shift in like club era music, everything, because we had moved and we're moving to adulthood. And so you like think about it, the like millennials had like the late 90s, the 2000s, and the early 2010s.
wow, what a
Business
time.
casual, long tees. We had like the original first selfies, the first cell phones, the this, and like it just a constant transformation and rebirthing. I think that's what's happening now with the change of social medias. We know how to pivot. We've been here since the beginning of like true chronic onlineness. Okay. I tell people I've
Yes,
been chronically
very
online
chronic.
for like 20 years, bruh. I've been chronically online. I
Mm,
was
let's just
there,
not talk about me, okay? Because if
like,
it was you 20 years, I've been a little longer than that.
listen, because I was like,
AOL dial up.
listen, Yahoo Messenger. Well, you remember Yahoo used to have music videos on Yahoo Music,
It was crazy.
message boards, and people were like, I said, y'all, I was
ASL, ASN
age.
set location. I don't know
But
what this
we were
young,
trying to get kidnapped, okay, apparently.
I don't know what this YN shit is of ASL being as hell. How that work? Y'all youngins. Hey,
No, that's one of the dumbest ones, to be
explain this
honest.
to me. How that work? How does 2 + 2 = 4 with that acronym? How is that even an acronym?
Damn. Man, it was just like, but you just like think about, you just think
Ongoing
about it.
change.
On like and constantly rebirthing, constant rebirth,
Constantly reinventing the collective self,
and it's crazy that is Scorpio and it's a fixed sign. But I
which
think,
means we finna keep doing this forever.
yeah, and get used to it. Let change be your stability.
Because the only thing that is constant is change.
Shout out to Octavia Butler. That's one of the only times y'all need to be invoking her because I'm so tired of y'all saying her name.
Leave that
Let
lady.
let Auntie please rest. If you're so
Just
inspired by Auntie, do the work that she was doing.
period.
That's it. Any other musings? We could get into
Is there a sign? Well, we talked about Gemini. I might as well talk about Virgo. And like, when you gonna talk about all the signs, throw your sign in the comment section,
okay.
and we'll just
You
talk
know what?
about those
Virgos do get
after.
a bad rep, bro. And it's the
Ooh, they hate us
men.
on the internet.
I be like, I love Virgos.
It's
And
not
they be
just
like,
the men.
what? I'm like,
It's not just the
no,
men.
not too much on my twin. Like,
They be hating everything,
but
men, women's, and I
but
get why,
have
right?
you
Like
met
there are
Virgo men?
things. Yes, I have, and I don't like them very much. I can count on one hand,
I guarantee you it's the Virgo man. The only Virgo man that I think everyone loves
but also
collectively,
Virgo mothers.
best
We
team. The only Virgo man people like as a collective is Michael Jackson.
well, they also like what's that man name? Mr. Fine Man.
Mr. Fine.
Everybody husband.
Everybody husband.
He English and black. What's his name? He recently got married. Not
Idris
recently.
Elba.
Yes, Mr.
You know what?
Elba.
I'm one of the only people who is not swooning over him.
I get how he's sexy. Like there are people, there are people that's like, oh, he fine as hell, and then there are people that's like, oh, they have a sexy allure. He is
Mm-hmm.
like sexy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Attractive to look at, but it's not Denzel. You know what I'm saying? Like
And you know it's
Denzel to
crazy
me is my
because
generational like, oh, I get it.
me,
Mm.
I he done got to that
Listen,
age where he's
that's a geriatric millennial thing. Okay, let the geriatrics enjoy the
people love
thing.
Denzel, and people love Denzel. I was like, I get it in his younger, but now I see him so much as an unk. I can't get it out of my head. But you know who I love down? You know who I love
Yeah,
down? Method Man.
everybody does. That's the people's man.
Listen, him,
Isn't he a Pisces? He's a Pisces.
he's a Pisces. He just celebrated a birthday. Who else? Morris Chestnut, love him.
Ah,
Love him.
but Morris Chestnut is a Pisces?
I
No,
don't
he a
know.
Taurus.
Morris
I know
Chestnut's
he's
a
a
Taurus.
Taurus because all of them men's in that movie, are
No, he's a
close in
Capricorn.
birthdays. Oh, Capricorn. So Morris Chestnut, there's three other of the 90s fine niggas that all have the same birthday in the same week.
Let's see who it
And they're
is.
all a Tay Diggs, a who's the other one?
Um, um, in that movie, light, you talking about light skin? Is that who you talking about? Because Lorenz, Lorenz not in that movie,
No,
but
Lorenz is a Virgo.
no one, I love him. Although people do not like Virgo men, they
They like to
are,
look at him.
but I love a Virgo man down.
The best man. Okay, so in the best man, there's three or so people that are all in the guy group that
Mm-hmm. So
shares
it's
like
Morris Tay, the other dude who now does horror. He's oh my God, he's a great actor. And then there's Terrence Howard,
I don't know what Terrence Howard is.
the light skinned one.
No, I'm saying I don't know what his birthday is.
Oh.
Oh, Terrence Howard of Pisces. No wonder he crazy. Um, I have dealt with a lot of Pisces people and will probably continue to do so. So it's not a dig, but it's a dig. Regina
My
Hall,
God.
Morris Chestnut, Tay Diggs. When's his birthday? So Tay Diggs is January 2nd.
Oh, Harold Perrineau. The other
Oh,
one, he's
our
a
Mercutio.
yes, he's a Leo.
That makes so much sense, though. That makes so
He
much
does
sense,
not look
though.
like no 61. It says he's 61.
That's dark skin, baby. Mm,
Listen, listen, Virgos do get a bad rep, but I love Virgos down. It's a bunch of y'all. Behind Scorpio, it's a bunch of Virgos.
yeah.
I don't know how
I
that
think
happened. Oh, wintertime, Christmas. Yeah, never mind.
absolutely Christmas.
Girl,
Yeah, I was having a time between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
baby, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve are all them damn Libras and Scorpios. I
Like,
have like a random hair.
I hate when that happens. But I listen.
So let's really say the facts.
Mhm,
Virgos, what I heard, because I ain't criticizing myself.
mhm.
Um, I see a lot that they're very critical, that they're hard to please,
I don't know
that
about
they
that.
think they know better than
No.
everybody. And I'm just like,
People who say they must hate Geminis as well.
of course they do.
Oh, okay.
Um, they're on the same axis, okay? They will tweet about Virgo in the next 10 seconds as a Gemini tweet. Um, what y'all hate is duality, one. What y'all hate is being told about yourselves and being right. Um, y'all hate truths, hard truths, because the third house, oh, they don't care how they tell the truth. Our third house, if it's a Virgo rising, is Pluto.
That's Scorpio thing.
The criticalness is very strange to me because Virgos don't even like being criticized, so why would we criticize you? Are we judging you? Yes, because where is your common sense? Um, but criticizing someone, unless you are close to us and we care about you,
They're not gonna
and
say
we
too much.
see that there are things that could be done better because we see things 10 times faster than you, right? We see all the ways. It's like everything everywhere all at once, but in all the ways things can go wrong, right? Um, so let's talk about why that is. Most Virgos are left in a household where the people who are supposed to have things together don't.
And that's very prominent for every Virgo placement, major Virgo placement that I've seen, and I know their childhood or they had to end up being a parent, right? And so, um,
Yes.
and so it's very, I do see it mostly in eldest daughters, eldest sons who are supposed to like get their
Hmm.
family out the mud, or I do see it sometimes. Actually, I would say about 40% in only children, like those major Virgo placements. And what I cannot stand about Virgos is the self-deprecation.
That's easy though, right? Because first you're the parent, then why are you the parent? Why do you think you're the one who should be the parent? Why
Hmm.
aren't you this way? So it's not only like the neglectful households and the parents who don't have it together because they're so busy figuring out their own life.
Hmm.
It's now everything that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing anyway is not good enough.
And it's crazy. And so it's like by the time I meet a lot of, because a lot of Virgos have come into my life and in my personal circle, Virgo placements, period, I'm like,
It's
what
the
are you doing?
performance for
And
love.
correct. And I'm like,
Hmm.
and so it's now trying to help the people in community who are Virgos be like, your acts of service, it's like y'all are used to transactions. Y'all think
Yeah, it's
everything
a
is a
transactional thing.
transaction. And I'm
Hmm.
like, no, it's not. And you're
Hmm.
until you get out of that mode, you're gonna feel as though everything is a transaction, or people are not trying to make community. Like, no. And mind you, sometimes community is transactional in a sense, but it's not necessarily transactional. Is the building of the reciprocity.
Yeah.
And I
Uh-huh.
and it's just like, where I'm like where did you get that from? And I think it's
It's also
important for
reinforced.
right. And I think it's important for Virgo placements to have Gemini friends, to be honest, because we will present the evidence so quick. We're like, now where did you get that? That's not what was said. That's not what was actually happening. Um, and to allow that freedom to explore outside of what you were told as a child.
Yeah. And so it's also that along life, the transactionalness is kind of like a cyclical process prophecy type thing, right? Because if you think that's what relationships are, you encounter people who live off that, who feed off that.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
like a
when you're
self-fulfilling prophecy.
self-fulfilling prophecy,
And
right?
I
And
I
so,
want yeah, I want Virgo placements to like explore love languages outside of acts of service.
whew, that's hard.
Please,
You know what it
please.
is? We would have to receive acts of service with no one asking us to do anything in
Then in
return for this.
return, just do it just because. Do something for yourself just because.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Like
Mind blowing behavior.
I know this like the rest of the podcast, we've like probably been triggering people left and right. Like
But it's these truths about us that a lot of people like projecting onto Virgos don't want to do all that shit for real.
and I hate that people will be like, well, people do this to all earth signs. They're like,
Hmm.
signs are too serious. I said, I ain't never met an earth sign that ain't goofy as hell. Have you met earth
The
signs?
jokes, okay? You thought your
Listen,
brain didn't catch the intricacy of the joke. It's not my problem.
listen, and earth and if an earth sign and an air sign get together, the layers of jokes.
Crazy.
I love having earth signs in my circle because they gonna get it. It's gonna be rolling. Like, am I gonna annoy y'all? Absolutely.
And that's fine.
But the fun, oh, I hate when people say that about Capricorns.
People
Capricorns are
say
no fun.
earth
I
signs
said,
are boring. What?
and they're lovers. Lovers.
All right, stop putting my business out there. We're gonna move
Okay.
on to another.
Cause like I hate when people say that about Capricorns. Like
Capricorns are the. Have y'all not heard Sade Adu? If y'all
first
don't
of
know who
all,
Sade is, because some of you little niggas don't know who Sade is, go go teach yourself something.
but like
Sade.
think about Capricorn, it's the opposite of Cancer. If you want to say
And
Cancer is
not
a lover
only,
girl, that means Capricorn also is our lovers.
and they're willing to do long-term love,
Mm-hmm.
to learn you, to grow with you, to experience you as you grow, to get through the trials and tribulate. That what is the marriage vow? And sickness and health and
Mm-hmm.
that's a cap. You want to
Whew.
talk about why people get married? It's very Saturnian to be married.
Correct. You know what? And my beef with Capricorn women, I'm gonna point y'all out specifically.
Hmm.
Capricorn women, stop marrying people beneath you. Thank you. Now, if we're going to go back to all the earth signs, listen, I am so tired of that.
I'm
I'm so
sorry,
tired
Mary
of
J.
it.
Blige. We are calling you into the room. It's too expensive for
I'm,
you. It's too expensive for you to date someone beneath you.
yes.
But also, right, the other side to that is, do you realize how worthy you are?
Mm, mm.
You don't bring no shit to the table. You built the fucking house around the table.
The way,
Everybody can't eat there.
listen, stop being, and they're so loving. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, so understanding. You understand them fools too much. Get them folks out your house. Then, I was, Taurus get a bad rep. I was like, Taurus, I learned the love and sensuality of love letters through a Taurus.
Mm.
I learned to love acts of service through a Virgo, and I
Mm.
told that person how to calm down and enjoy quality time of being still.
Baby, the true key is our nerves are bad. So if you can,
Down.
if you can help us calm the fuck down,
Like, so I think all earth signs just get a bad rep. I was like, they are lovers. They are. I don't know where, like, you just have to get them to sit down and stop overworking. And
yes, proving
honestly,
love, having to prove love is the wound of earth signs.
and it's always through materialism.
It's always through that because they're all taught a version of scarcity,
Mm, speak to it.
right?
Speak to
Because
it.
if Capricorn is the 10th house, then you have to work hard and you have to be successful and you have to
Mhm.
be whatever the fuck to do whatever to make sure every whatever it is.
And you
There
know what?
is it's a
Taurus
lot.
is second house of self-worth and materials and money and income. Yeah, I see that.
If you're a Taurus that has most times Tauruses that I have encountered some kind of material scarcity
Mm,
that scares them and makes them want to make sure that they will never end up there or that they have to prove their value by amassing material wealth.
mm, mm.
There are people that I have met that are like, I don't relax until I have worked my worth. And I'm just like, what?
And it's crazy
You don't
because
go
they
sleep.
like Venus rules them, so they just need to embody it.
You're not meant to chase a bag.
Literally, I'm so
Baby,
tired
you
of
are the
chasing.
bag.
And then if you skip down to what's after Virgo, Virgo's what, sixth house?
The body.
Literally of work, the balance of work, diet, body, work-life balance, daily lives.
Alignment. The ritual alignment of all of the things.
Hmm. I'm like, yo, like, calm down,
You gonna
calm
get sick
down. And y'all always do the Virgo placements.
every time.
The stomach gonna be the first one. The stomach gonna let you know you're doing too much. Gonna let you know, and that is hilarious to me. I'm all listen. I remember a homeboy. He had get an acceptance letter to his doctorate program, and I don't think he'll be watching this. I'm on the phone. So I'm like, oh my God, that's so amazing. He's like in the car. We both in the car driving, whatever. I said, you don't sound, I was like, that's amazing, whatever, whatever. And like, you get quiet. I was like, you don't sound excited. And he was like, he's like, I gotta go to the toilet and I'm 10 minutes away from the house on the expressway. And
I am focused. I'm fighting for my life right now,
he
okay?
got so excited. Like his intestines was just like
Listen.
released. I was like, that nervous system, stomach be
Woo!
tearing y'all up.
Mm,
Baby, I hollered so loud
the
as I put,
digestive
listen,
anxiety.
I thought that was so funny. I always mess with Virgo placements about that. I'd be like, you be having stomach problems, don't you? I know it's okay. That's it.
It'd be
That's
bad.
listen.
It'd be
Anyways,
bad. But
we said
yeah,
this was
let's
gonna
see.
be a short episode, but it
No, it
was not.
wasn't. But I think what I will invite everyone, right, is invoke the duality and mutability of Gemini, Virgo we discussed, and being curious.
Mhm.
When you feel that you are projecting, right? This is free. All right, I'm giving this to y'all for free. You would have to figure this out in therapy. When you are projecting something onto someone, be it a sign because you dated one Pisces nigga, now you hate all Pisces niggas or whatever.
Maybe that's the next AstroMusings because y'all be on the Pisces head too. I'm like,
It's really
that.
mutable signs that they have a problem with. But anyway, ask where that sign is in your chart, right? There are free ways to do this. Astro.com, AstroSeek, astrology chart calculator. Use your Googles minus AI because we need
Please,
all the water we can get. Um, and just look at what house a sign is in before you get to the Twitter, the TikTok, before you record some bullshit
please say please.
and really find out what is being triggered in your chart. Do you have a planet there?
Mhm.
Do you have, I don't know, an aspect to it? Or are you just working on some things in that sign? It will give you more answers than you just randomly hating somebody. If the person an asshole, they're an asshole, and it's not because they're a Pisces. They're just a terrible person.
Correct. It has nothing to do with the sign, honey.
The chart will probably tell you why, but that is none of your business. Just keep moving. Be curious. Ask more questions. That is how community becomes something. We are meant to be inconvenienced. We are meant to do favors for one another without saying,
Mhm.
I did a favor for you this
Mhm.
one time. Watching somebody's kids, holding a purse, showing up at 3 a.m. when the person's crying. That is what community is. It's not just throwing your ass in a circle with your group of bitches that you have no idea what's going on in their life.
You know what? There we said that. Oh my gosh. The rapper Big Crit has an interlude on Forever is a My Long Time on that album, which is
Mhm.
his classic album. And it's called The Weekend and it's like it's the weekend and the skit is like you're gonna be at the same club called Club Same Old doing the same old stuff with the same girls and it's gonna get shot up, it's gonna shot up, close down, reopen as something else, you're gonna go back and it's the same thing unless you do something different. And the whole
Mm-hmm.
skit is this thing of like do something different. And he's a Virgo, and in the skit he's like Virgo season, because sometimes they'll have like specials for the birthday
Mm-hmm.
seasons or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just when you said that, it just reminded me of that. And it's funny because that's his Saturn return album, and so I think he was like processing some things. And I
Mm.
think more people we talk about so many people are talking about community, but I don't think it don't start to click over until
You
after
don't know
Saturn
what it
return.
is. You don't know what it is
We don't know what it is
until
yet until it
you go
clicks
through some
over.
real, you gotta go through arguments. You gotta go through disagreements. You gotta go through really realizing if you want to be in community with people, in relationship, because that's all that community is.
Mm-hmm.
In relationship with people, without enmeshment, without entitlement, and
Mm-hmm.
with love.
Mm-hmm.
Love not because you have to prove it, right? Or that you have to overextend yourself for it. It's literally, I got you, and that's your word. And you show up.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's the problem right now. People are not showing up.
Because they don't know how to, right?
Some people are making excuses, but
Some people, let's be honest, a lot of y'all don't want to be inconvenienced because you are not built for community, and that is quite okay. Not everybody was in community. Some of y'all want everybody to be free from over the fuck there, right? So you do your little graphic design for some shit. You can create a newspaper. You can, whatever you want to do, everyone has a role. If you want to be a part of something, but like not in the something, there is something for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just create pastries by yourself and you bring it to the event, leave it there, and get the fuck home and do something else. That's still being a part of community,
And thank you for your service. Your
right?
relationship is just different with that said community.
Everything isn't always being together all of the time, but it is showing up when people need showing up. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's the most randomest of ways. Maybe you gave a ride, maybe you gave a call, maybe you sent a letter. Everyone has a role, but it means it's not convenient. It means it's not something that you're getting a instant gratification for.
Mm-hmm.
You can't want relationships like your best friend that you grew up with 20 years ago with random strangers on the street.
Yeah, it's just, and that we can go on and on about this about
Oh,
community
yeah,
and
it
what
could
that
be
looks
really
like,
long.
but um, I just want with these musings that we did today, that you're listening to, and I know it's probably gonna be one of the ones that people have to like pause, re-listen,
And come back.
and come back like, you're not about to read me down today. But I think this goes back into why we are doing the podcast from our lens. The Black lens is community based, period. And we're losing some recipes, and we're slowly trying to get them back. And this is another way for us to kind of help everyone get the tools back because we're learning as
Hmm.
well.
We don't know
Um,
everything.
Absolutely not. And so yeah. Oh, before we end this, did did we want to read the comment?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I just remembered that. So hold on. So in our first video, we had someone Um, Leah, Leiah, Leah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, said in our Pluto and Aqua and Black history, we love comments, y'all. Also, like, please talk to us. I have seen a handful of Korean shamans talking about how hard it is to practice because their parent family disapprove of anything non-Christian. Ain't that something? Because I think we were talking about how like getting back into traditional religions was
Mm-hmm.
kind of difficult. I think during Pluto in Capricorn and kind of breaking the Christianity lens and going back
Mm-hmm.
to traditional
Mm-hmm.
religions. And I just thought that was so interesting. Like Korean shamans being kind of like exiled from the family because it was non-Christian. Like they're
Which
not about that stuff. But as an avid Korean drama watcher,
mm-hmm.
I feel very much like it's like Haitians do, where Haitians are very, very whatever they choose to be, Catholic, Christian, whatever the breakdowns are. I am not the best person to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
file away the religion, but they are very insert religion here.
Mm-hmm.
They are l'Église, l'école, la caille, and l'Église is first, which is church.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when shit get real, where are they going?
And that's another beef I got. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a different episode. But I think it's very much this kind of thing of like, oh no, we don't do that around here. Whole time it's like, you know, that $5,000, I gotta go pay this mumbo, this shaman real quick
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to get further insight on this thing that I've been praying about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you for that comment, Leah. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
It got us to
Um,
thinking.
um, I think we get like 10 subscribers on YouTube. Woo, 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 woo.
Yay! Wait, I think
Uh,
it's more actually. Hold on. I'm just gonna go look.
and
Go ahead, keep talking.
um, this is a slow but steady. Period. Period. Woo, 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 woo,
And
woo.
it's 13.
Yeah, I like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many on Spotify, but we see y'all listening and looking. We appreciate the interaction. As you can see, this is like a go with the flow type podcast. So if you're
Yeah.
looking for it every week, this is not it. Maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Because like we like to do our research, we like to bring real information. We also, as Astro Girlies, we don't want to be back and forth with these planets all the
No, like
time.
this March. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Listen,
Yeah.
54 impressions. Shout out to the people that um identify as female because that is like 100%.
Period.
And our millennials,
Mm-hmm.
the 28 to 34 group. I sees you.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing us, seeing you, seeing us.
I swear we're gonna do better at advertising. I swear we're gonna do better.
We're just revving up. We're a little tired. I ain't gonna hold you. It ain't easy. I have 3 podcasts, y'all.
She does.
3 podcasts, 4 Instagrams, a business, and too many creative projects. Please be gentle with me. That's all I'm saying.
I was just talking on Blue Sky. Like, listen, I'm getting rid of my Twitters slowly but surely. Coming off that thing. I'm so sad that I gotta come off Twitter, bro. Like, but I have like 3 Instagrams and I have 3 YouTubes.
I
Like,
also have 2 YouTubes.
Yeah, I have three YouTubes, three Instagrams. Of course, I'm not on the Clock app no more. I have Blue Sky, so things are starting to decrease and be more specific. But it's like,
Hmm.
I too have 1,000 things going on over here. Um, Finishing school, still embedding research, trying to write
Dr.
this.
Khadijah. Okay.
Listen, almost there,
In a
baby.
city near you. Okay. In a city
Listen,
near you. Soon come.
baby, because yeah. And then of course I have like Lady Emerald. I'm Lady Emerald. I do Lady Emerald things.
Protection oils.
Yes, so right now, I was told by my spirits to amplify my protection oil. So my protection oil is already pretty potent. Liz can tell you. It's pretty potent,
If you
and
got
it
any
is.
of her stuff in your house and you got candles going, baby, you gonna have to turn off the candle. Okay, they's
Listen,
talking, they's appearing. But
uh,
also, it works. It doesn't just work. They ain't playing.
to amplify it to cover all new possible endemics and pandemics. So everything that's scattered around, um, it now covers all of those. The original protection oil covered Covisha, so it's now covering more. And
Mhm.
yeah, you just hopefully by the time y'all see this, there's still some available because it's a limited amount, and they
Very limited.
are decreasing. So by the time y'all see this, or listen to this, you can email me at ladyemerald@gmail to get you a bottle. It's 2 ounces. It goes a long way.
It goes a
Um,
long way.
yeah, and so yeah, yeah. So that's like, although I've shut down like the product side, that's one of the things that my spirits was like, you gotta bring this back really quickly for us. This is for the public. We need you to do this. Besides
Mhm.
that, I have a couple readings open actually this month for the month of March.
I'm preparing some things. I'm preparing some things.
Yeah.
Um, Providing some services. I think I'm still ruminating on them, but I think
Mm-hmm.
uh I've been wanting to mesh everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like to do a couple of more in-person readings for creatives and business owners or business idea havers or creative directors of any kind. And so,
Ooh.
um, and I would like to do more workshops,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just not just general public, but like if you have, I don't know, entrepreneurial homies or creative homies or a business that could benefit from a creative workshop, let's do something. I'm very good at it, and that's not being arrogant. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
the receipts, and so
Remember, she's award-winning people. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
I
She is an
am. Ignite
award-winning
award winning. Yes.
period.
So
So,
out of the box thinking, futuristic thinking.
mm-hmm.
Holla at your
Mm-hmm.
girl. So if you want to hit me up on the socials. Astrolizix is coming back soon, but not during this retrograde. I'm not gonna waste my time. Um, but yeah, it's coming back. I'm trying to get some things together. And so those are our church announcements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can find us on the social waves.
Mm-hmm.
I am chronically online and usually overly responsive because you already heard everything that happens with Virgo. So
Listen, we'll do better, but we will catch y'all on the next episode.
yes, I hope
Leave
this was
comments
enjoyable.
below, all that good
Um,
stuff. Hopefully learned you
but
something.
please talk to us. What signs did we miss that you would like discussed? What insights, what versions of humanization of a sign would you like?
Yeah, absolutely.
We love y'all. Bye bye.
Bye, deuces.
I'm sleepy.